Hey everyone, welcome back to Life in Pixels, and thanks for joining me today for my speed build in The Sims 4 reimagining Mimi's place from The Sims Bustin Out. So I'm continuing my series that I started to reimagine all the lots from The Sims Bustin Out. Previously we did Mom's house, and so next up is our girl Mimi. So y'all, this house, oh my god, I struggled with it so much. Like, I was on the struggle bus for real. No, I wasn't even on the struggle bus. The struggle bus was pulling away as I was going up to the bus stop, and I ran after it and desperately grabbed a hold of the tailpipe, and I was being like bounced around behind the struggle bus as I clung to it down the road. Like, it was ridiculous, but I'll kind of talk you through some of the issues that I had as we get there. So as you can see, I just did the layout. I drew it really big at first because I wanted to do the exact shape that Mimi's house was in Bustin' Out in the beginning, and then I kind of drug everything in and made it smaller so that it was more realistic and not as gigantic and spread out and sparse as the original game was. And of course I had to give it that classic pink exterior like it is in Bustin' Out, and give it that cutesy little vibe that we all know and love. So I'm going to go through and start with the flooring and the wallpaper in this house. Now, in a little bit, it's going to kind of jump around a lot. For one, I'm kind of a chaotic builder, and I've noticed that I bounce around to rooms a lot. And so that was actually kind of annoying when I was watching it back. I didn't realize like how much I bounced around until I watched it back, and I was like, dang, I really need to try to settle down and be a little more concise when I'm building, because this was a pain in the butt to edit. So I'm sorry, there are some times where you'll just see me like cut to a whole different room because it was just too much of me bouncing back and forth. And y'all, embarrassingly enough, this probably took me like 6.5 hours to build, even though it's not that big, and really it shouldn't have taken me that long. But like I said, I was just struggling so much. So as you can see right now, I'm fiddling around with the different like pink carpets in Mimi's room. Like that first pink I put down is probably like the actual pink that it was in Bustin' Out, but I just didn't think like any of the wallpapers really looked good with it. And then I was realizing we don't really even have that like good of selection of pink carpets in the game. Not that pink carpet is something that I would reach for a lot on a normal basis, because normally I'm just a plain Jane wall and plain Jane floor kind of person, because I really like to decorate my houses. So I like to keep the floors and the walls like pretty basic so that I can add a lot of flair to them without it clashing too much. I like plain Jane walls and floors in real life, so I usually kind of extend that into my Sims homes. This challenge has really been making me step outside the box and outside of my comfort zone, which has been really fun. Something that I really like, but it definitely was a struggle today. As you can see, I did change the carpet in Mimi's room to a white because I just didn't like any of the pink shades with the wallpaper. Like, none of them match. I will put a pink rug down there later. Y'all will see that. So right now we're working on the kitchen, and this was the first, well, not really the first, the second place I really struggled, because the first had to be that wallpaper carpet combination, because you know EA does not give us swatches that match on hardly anything. So in this kitchen, I wanted to give it a special appliance, because in the Bustin' Out game, Mimi had like a regular stove, and then she also had the special stove to help you level up for the cooking career. So I wanted to give her something like that in this game. So as you can see, I first tried to give her the big chef station from Dine Out, but I really didn't want like an order up window in her house. That would look kind of weird. And so then I played around with the cupcake machine. Y'all, why is the cupcake machine so big? Like, why? Like, who has room for that in their kitchen? Like, that is so ridiculous. I'm so tired of these, like, gigantic objects that are just ridiculous. So when I play in my game personally, like, I have a mod downloaded that allows you to bake cupcakes in your oven, because why wouldn't you be able to bake cupcakes in your oven? Anyway, I digress. So as you can see, I finally got the smaller version of the cook station from Dine Out to work, and I kind of did in this like little L shape. So I got that going, and I gave her like some retro appliances, because in Bustin' Out, Mimi's got kind of this like 1960s vibe with her style. Got a lot of flower power type stuff going on in the living room, and just like a lot of furnitures that reminded me of that mid-century and 1960s style. She's got like a lot of pop art on the walls. So I wanted to give her some like fun and funky mid-century appliances to go with it, and kind of gave them that aqua color to match with that green in the kitchen. Over here, I'm giving her like a little bit of a coffee station. And Busting Out, she does drink coffee a lot because she goes out, parties a lot. Mimi's gone like all the time. People are calling at all hours, coming in at all hours. So girls got to get her coffee on so she can maintain that lifestyle. So, giving her a little bit of modern flair, I went ahead and gave her like a little coffee bar. And I thought that also would free up some room in the kitchen because there's not a ton of counter space in here, even though it is kind of a big kitchen because that like dine out station takes up a lot of the room. I also gave her like a little ice cream maker because I thought that would be fun. Give her a little something extra because I think there's a food processor in the Bustin' Out game, and we don't have a food processor in The Sims 4. Like, come on now. Like, this is what, year 2020 now. Sims 4 has been out since I think 2014. Where's the food processor? Like, why are we still chopping everything by hand? But whatever, I digress. So now I'm working on the dining room, kind of picking out a table. Again, I wanted to go with that kind of 1960s look. So I ended up going with this table from Bowling Night stuff, and kind of gave me that mid-century vibe. And I get these bubble chairs going. Super cutesy, going along with that teal look. And you'll see me cut. I kind of fiddled with the placement a little bit, and then I decided to move on to the living room, and now I'm just picking out a bar. I don't know if it was supposed to be a smoothie bar or like an alcoholic bar in the living room in the Bustin' Out game. I can't remember. I know it had like a pink like blender thing on top of the bar in the Bustin' Out game, and honestly I don't remember if that was supposed to be like smoothies or if that was supposed to be not like adult smoothies. So not really sure. Now I'm going through trying to pick out some chairs, and again, y'all, I hit a wall here. So I was set on going with that like 1960s mid-century kind of style. And I got the kitchen, I got the dining room down. I was like, sweet, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna bring that style into the living room. Y'all, why does EA not have good mid-century living room furniture? Like, I know that, what was it? Get Famous had some pieces of like mid-century furniture that looked really cute, but they didn't have just like a couch and a chair set that was really giving me the vibes that I wanted. So I start off with these, couch and chairs from movie night stuff, because I wanted to have that kind of like boho flower power flair that Mimi's living room does have. And originally I kind of went with the white and light pink scheme, because when I was thinking about like her pink house, it gave me like that Barbie vibe, like, oh, she's got like the pink thing. But y'all will see later, I end up changing that like completely, because that whole like white pastel pink thing really isn't Mimi. Mimi's like pretty hardcore. She wears all black. She's got the combat boots going. She's got the mesh shirt with like her crop top underneath and everything. Like, she's a little bit of a rebel, and this whole like Barbie palace thing really was not working in the end. So I'm going to go back, change all of that in a little bit, and completely rearrange everything. Because I just wasn't feeling it. And I think that's probably what threw me off for a lot of the house. Like, I had just had that pink Barbie image stuck in my head for a while, and it just really wasn't who Mimi is. And once I finally started changing the furniture and just kind of going more bold, going more like honestly tacky, it really worked though. So in that little corner, I did the speakers from Moschino stuff that can act as a radio. I gave her a microphone and a guitar, because the stereo and dancing was like a big thing that was always happening in her house. But I wanted to give her a little bit of an upgrade because, like I just said, she's got that kind of like rebel vibe going on. So I was like, Mimi might be kind of like in a band. Maybe she's got a little bit of a punk thing going on. So I thought it'd be cute to give her like a little musical setup. I thought about giving her a karaoke machine, but it just really wouldn't fit. So I thought the speaker on the speakers from Moschino stuff and the microphone on the stand kind of could give you the illusion of doing karaoke if you wanted to. Now we've moved on to Mimi's bedroom. Bathroom is kind of pretty simple. I know I talked over that. I'm going to go back and add a little bit more decoration later, so maybe we'll touch on it again, but really kind of basic. In her bedroom, in the Bustin' Out game, she's got like the canopy bed, and so I struggled. I wanted to give her a canopy bed, and also like her end table is, I think, like the kids' end table. So I really got the vibe that Mimi like just moved out of her house. She still maybe has her bed from childhood. Maybe she still has her like bedroom furniture from her childhood. Maybe that's why she still has that like little kid nightstand going on. But it really just wasn't working because, again, the beds and the wallpaper and the floor, like none of it matched. So I decided not to do the canopy bed, but I did give her like a little bit of a pink bed that might have been from her like teenage years living at home with Malcolm. And she is a bit of a, well, not a bit of, she is a rich sim. Malcolm Landgrab is a very rich sim. So Mimi, by extension, is a rich sim. So I imagine that her like childhood or teenagehood bedroom furniture would be pretty luxe. I went ahead, I built her a closet, got the Moschino stuff clothes rack in there. This is a functioning closet. She can walk in there, use the Moschino stuff rack as a dresser, and I put some mirrors in the back, and she can also use those. And I built her a little vanity station. Now, this other bedroom, like when you're playing Bustin' Out, this is the one that you stay in. So it's like a guest bedroom. I wanted to keep that more plain, more simple. I did go with the mid-century modern style a little bit more in there, and I was able to get a canopy bed in there because I believe there was also a canopy bed in the guest room of Bustin' Out, so I did fit it in there somewhere. Now I'm just going through, I'm filling with the windows. I do have a bad habit of going ahead and decorating the house like I want to and getting all the furniture in, and then putting in the windows is how I usually do it. And then sometimes that kind of makes window placement look really weird on the outside. Like it works on the inside because I modify the window placement based on where I place furniture, but that doesn't always look that great on the outside. But in real life, like windows are placed super funky anyway. Like the front windows usually look good on the front of the house, but the side and the back windows usually look really weird on houses. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I do want it to look nice. I think I do go back in and tweak the windows a little bit later. But overall, I think I get them spaced out where they look decent on the outside. Now I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. I imagine that Mimi is the kind of person that would have a lot of stuff everywhere. She kind of reminds me of definitely a chaotic energy with her coming and going in and out of the house and with friends. And she always has people over. So I imagine her house being like the party place. So I wanted to give her a lot of decoration just all over the house. So I cluttered up the corner cabinets. I did leave two counters open for cutting food prep, and then leaving a spot where you could serve food. So now I'm going through and I pull out a room by Simlessy. She went through all of the debug items and picked out some stuff for different rooms, like based on oh shoot, what am I trying to say? Based on the theme. So she did like a kitchen room, and so she put a lot of clutter that could be done in the kitchen from the debug menu. And what a lifesaver, because going through the debug menu, there's some really cute stuff in there, but it's such a pain in the butt to try to get some stuff out of that debug menu because you can't search, it's so hard to find. So I was really thankful that she went through and got all of these things and put them together in these nice little collections for us. So over in the coffee station, there were like some little bags of coffee that I pulled out, a couple of coffee mugs, and then I was fiddling around with like some bottles and a measuring cup and trying to get some other little clutter items to fill in some of the nooks and crannies of these like little corner clutters. I know that I already have a lot of stuff there, But like I said, I think she's just kind of chaotic and probably has a lot of stuff everywhere. So I'm putting some bottles. I think they're technically from like the juice bars, but I thought they could be like olive oil or something like that. And they looked really cute. Nice little touch. So now I think we're going to move over to, oh no, we're still over here in the coffee bar. I wanted to put a plant on this little wheelie cart. I imagined that this was something that maybe if she's having a party outside or she has more guests over, she would probably wheel it around. So I wanted to put something over there to kind of give it like a little bit of height. So I'm fiddling around with some plants, and then I have a bad habit. Well, I don't know if it's a bad habit, but I have a habit of if I'm like going through the plants or I'm going through the clutters in the menu, I'll just go through and I'll just pull out a bunch of stuff and put in a bunch of different rooms, just like everywhere to, if it's something that I think I might want to use so I don't have to keep going through the catalog. So as you can see, it looks kind of like a jungle. In the living room over there, that's because I pulled out like so many plants from the catalog that I thought I might want to use. So I'm like, let me just scatter these plants all over the living room. Kind of also why I'm a little bit of a chaotic builder slash decorator is because I just pull stuff out everywhere and it literally looks like a tornado went through and wrecked everything. So I don't know if that's going to change in the future. I need to be a little bit more mindful, though, of how I build when I'm recording. Because, like I said, pain in the butt to edit. But that's a me issue, not a y'all issue. Sorry about the complaining for it. As you can see, I'm fiddling with windows more. I decided to put some more windows in the dining room. I was originally trying to put some artwork up there because, like I said, she's got like a lot of pop art in the Bustin' Out version of the game. So I wanted to give her a lot of artwork throughout the house, but I just really didn't like the artwork next to that really big feature clock. So I just went with some windows. Kind of when in doubt, window out. That was cheesy. Let me never, ever do that again. Now I'm just changing the light fixtures here in the dining room and the kitchen. Because when I build, I just put in all those like more expensive flat saucer lights because they're super bright and it allows me to see what's going on. Because Sims 4 is such a really dark game. Like the lighting is really not that great in this game. So I just like to put those saucer lights in. But for this build, I wanted to make sure that I put in appropriate light fixtures. I went through and I put in some ones that I thought might be kind of like mid-century 1960s-esque. Because I kind of imagined that Mimi was maybe renting this house. Or maybe she just bought this as her first home for like a starter home. So I kind of envisioned this as like maybe a 1960s-ish suburban home. And I know that like rosy pastel carpet and stuff like that was really popular in that era. So part of me was thinking like maybe Mimi really isn't all that obsessed with the color pink. Maybe it was just more so there from when she moved in because that was a really popular style of flooring and walling. Is that a word? Is walling a word? Wallpaper or paint, whatever we want to say. Those were really popular color schemes for those features in a home in the 1960s. So I'm kind of thinking she's maybe like renting it. And that would maybe explain why the color scheme is so chaotic. Because I don't think Mimi herself is necessarily that tacky. So you can see I just kind of gave the bathroom a couple of pink touches to tie everything in. I gave her that like little elephant shower curtain. I know it's like really super kiddish, but like I said, her bedroom furniture in the original game was pretty kiddish as well. And really the furniture throughout her house, like very flower power, very childlike. So I imagine that she would be the kind of young lady that would really love that kind of kiddish elephant shower curtain. And I mean, let's be honest, it's cute. So now I'm going through, I'm decorating her room, adding on those touches. I gave her the pink fluffy rug. I think that might be from City Living. I sized it up. It's a pretty small rug initially, but that way it could tie in the pink because it more matched the wallpaper. that I wanted to give her since the pink carpet was just not meshing. I thought about putting a curtain here on her closet, but I just really didn't like the way any of them looked, especially since the window curtains were right there. So I went ahead and just left it without a curtain. I didn't bother putting a door on there either. I thought Mimi might be the kind of girl that wanted to like look in at her clothes and see everything that was going on anyway, so I didn't think she would mind. Now I'm just going ahead and cluttering up the vanity with some makeup items like the blow dryer and brush item. I gave her a little bit of a journal. She might like to write down her like little private thoughts, because even though she goes out and parties all the time, I think she probably has a little bit of a sensitive side going on, so I went ahead and gave her a journal. Now I'm just going to put like the nail polishes up. I couldn't quite get them to fit where I originally wanted them, so I ended up putting them there in the middle. And now I'm going through and I'm picking out some artwork, giving her some of that pop art that she loves. I put some of those paintings on the floor there. They're from that free update when the freelancer careers came out. I sized them down. I put them on the floor. I figured maybe she's just going to leave them there, or maybe they're just things that she hasn't gotten around to hanging up yet. Another thing that I noticed in the Bustin' Out version of Mimi's place was that she has a lot of like lamps and like wall fixtures that have a lot of an Asian flair to them. Like the red, and they've got the tassels on them and like the gold lettering. I don't know if it's supposed to be Chinese or Japanese characters, but kind of has that Asian vibe. So I'm gonna put you saw me put one of them down. I put a couple of those tapestries from, maybe it was City Living, I'm not 100% sure, but I put some tapestries kind of throughout to kind of bring in a little bit more of that Asian vibe to it, because like I said, there was a lot of that with the lanterns, and I didn't want to put a bunch of like floor lamps and lanterns all throughout the house. We don't even really have those in The Sims 4 anyway, but I really didn't want a lot of wall lights. I just don't like wall lights really in real life or The Sims 4. Like, I don't know, but especially in The Sims 4, they don't give off good light. They're really dark. They just kind of take up a lot of space. So I don't know. I much prefer just ceiling lights and putting some lamps around sometimes. So honestly, I don't even know what the wall light catalog looks like in The Sims 4. Maybe I should look at that a little bit more. One of those expanding my horizons things. But as it stands, I really don't know what's in there. So as we can see, moved on to the spare room, and I wanted to keep this more plain, more simple. I do clutter up the top of the dresser a bit with some things that I thought maybe Mimi picked out that she wanted for her guests, but overall I wanted to leave it a little more plain, because if you want to play in this house and if you want to play with Mimi, of course she has her room, but you, like the player character, as it was in Busting Out, takes the spare room. So I'm going to leave it kind of plain. If you did want to put a character in here, if you did want to put a roommate for Mimi, or if you wanted to just imagine that this is the room that she has for when her many friends come over and they crash and they spend the night, just kind of a little more simple room. I did go back into Mimi's room and I placed some of those like little fairy lights and the ones with the pictures, because I just ran across them in the catalog when I was doing the other room, and I was like, oh yeah, that'd be really cute. Because especially with the pictures, she's a really social butterfly in my opinion, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. I gave her a ceiling fan, and I merged the saucer light and the ceiling fan together so that you can have the fan and the light in the same point. I like to do that a lot because I did say this in my last video with Mom's house. It really annoys me how in The Sims 4 we don't have the ceiling fans as light fixtures as well, because every ceiling fan that I've ever seen in my personal life is also like a ceiling light. Maybe there are fans out there that just exist as fans. I'm sure there probably is, but I've just never personally seen them. So I like to make sure that my fans are a light fixture and one. So as you can see, I'm just kind of cluttering up the dresser in the spare room a little bit. Have a couple of knickknacks on there, but I didn't want to go overboard. I do go back in here and I put a mirror in there just in case that, you know, they want to gussy up or whatever. And honestly, to fill a little bit of space, because maybe I went a little clutter crazy in this build, but I just felt like I could not have a little plain bit of wall. That wall clock was not taking up enough space for me. But I did keep it simple on this wall, put a little bit of a pop art. Y'all, look at this living room. It is a jungle in here and has like pictures and stuff everywhere. It truly is chaotic. Oh, I did try to put a ceiling fan in here. I think cut that out. It clipped into the bed, but I'd forgotten to replace the light fixture in there. So I went ahead and did that, and going ahead and putting down a rug. Like, I don't know why I had to cut in 3 or 4 times there, probably because I kept going back and forth between the living room and the bedroom. Over here in the entryway of the house, it does get quite a bit cluttered. But like I said, with Mimi coming in and out all the time, having a lot of friends in and out, I imagine she's the kind of girl that keeps a lot of stuff by the door so that she can throw on a pair of shoes by the door if she needs to, or I put a mirror there so she can check herself, like her hair, her makeup, or whatever. She's running out the door, or as she's running back in the door, and maybe she's got people coming over. So I wanted to give her like a little bit of a station over here to put her shoes down, put her coat down, excuse me, and give herself like a little final look. I put some of those magazines from Moschino stuff on top of this table. I did not like the slotting on top of this table, so unfortunately I had to like alt place the items on top of this table. Sometimes that means that Sims will put like a rogue dirty plate or glass or something on the table, because neither one of those objects are really sitting on the table. They just look like it. I try to avoid that when I can, so I really don't like to do a lot of alt placing of objects on surfaces when I can avoid it, because I hate it nothing more than when the Sim is all like complaining about how dirty and filthy the room is, and you're looking around and you're like, nothing's dirty here, nothing's filthy here, what are you talking about? And then you see like the little green smelly lines, and it's from like a rogue plate or a cup that they hid on a surface because the objects weren't really on the surface. Okay, rant over. I put that little strip of corkboard from Discovery University above that little table. I thought it was cute, little mementos that Mimi would maybe want to keep with her. This lamp here is from Vampires. I brought in that little bit of red. It didn't have that Asian flair of those lanterns that I was speaking on earlier, but it was really kind of the only red lamp that gave me that vibe. So I decided to go ahead, throw one in for nostalgia purposes. It doesn't like super match with the pink carpet and stuff, but honestly, it didn't originally anyway. As y'all can see, the living room was drastically changed. Unfortunately, when I was rearranging the living room, I thought that I was screen recording and I wasn't. So I actually did not have footage of me changing the colors or the layout of the living room. But as you can see, I'm still using the same couch and chairs from movie hangout stuff, but I went ahead and changed the colors to be a little bit more vibrant. I moved the bookcase over in here, and I have like the cushions and the poofs and everything everywhere, because I figured she would need extra places to sit when she has a lot of people come over. So I went ahead and scattered several of those around. A couple of them are usable. The one from Tiny Living is a table anyway. It's not even a chair, even though it looks like a chair. But we can just pretend it's some seating. And then I kept the speakers and the microphone and the guitar in the corner. I just moved the bookcase over so the bookcase isn't in the corner any longer. And I changed the speakers from that like baby pink to like a more vibrant teal to bring in more of those bright pops of color. So now I'm going to go ahead and change the lights in the living room. I gave her these ceiling lanterns. So they're kind of, I think, supposed to be those paper lanterns. But again, kind of brings in that vibe a little bit. And these lights I fiddled around with on what kind of fixtures I wanted. But I went ahead in the end and went with the ones that I have in the dining room. Because if I was going off of what I said earlier about maybe she's renting this place from like the 1960s, I wanted to go ahead and kind of give some of the light fixtures, not fixtures, light fixtures, some continuity throughout the house. I had a lot of space over here in the side yard area of this lot, so I went ahead and built a driveway. And I did find a couple of cars from the live edit objects menu. I again thought I was recording when I was picking out those cars, and I didn't. So all you see that I cut from there was like me trying to fiddle around with what color of concrete that I wanted to use for the driveway. You can kind of see the cars peeking over there. You'll see them more in the screenshots. I couldn't decide which car I wanted to give Mimi, so I went ahead and just put 2 in the driveway because A, fills it out a little bit more. B, I didn't have to decide which car I wanted to use. And C, looks like she's got some guests over. So I just went ahead and left both of them there. Now I'm just kind of messing around with the backyard. I wanted to put some lights up out here, and oh my god, that was a task in and of itself too. So what you're going to see me do is I scooched the roof back. I put this wall here between these columns, put these lights up. I have move objects on, so when I deleted the wall, it left the string lights up there. And then I had to replace the roof. And I don't think I had any footage of me roofing either. I probably fiddled around building for like a straight hour that I thought I was recording and didn't. But it's probably for the best because I had enough footage to go through. As you can see, I totally forgot that I had raised the wall height up to a medium so that I could put the lights where I wanted them. And then I was like, why isn't the roof working? Why do I need to bring these columns up? I just needed to lower the walls down to the short wall height again. Thankfully, I figured that out before I did too much, but that worked really well. So now they're perfectly placed between the columns and they look like they're hanging from the roof. And so that was really cute. I'm glad that I figured that out. Here on the back patio, I'm extending that like mauve-y, dusty rose pink thing that the exterior of the house has going on onto the patio. Kind of laid down some mismatched tiles. They kind of look like terracotta tiles that I've seen in real life, so I like that. Went ahead, gave her a privacy fence back here because we have the hot tub, we've got a grill. I gave her the keg, the juice keg from Discovery University, and a little sitting area. So right now I'm going ahead and picking out the lot traits, which means we are done with this build and on to the screenshots. Thanks for watching. Enjoy!